Hello all and welcome back to my channel. I am the Ink Northerner and this is my shelf game video. This is going to be on Resistance Fall of Man. So Resistance Fall of Man is a 2006 first person shooter for the PlayStation 3. It was developed by Insomniac Games, who up until this point were known for the Spyro and the Ratchet and Clank series, and have since been in the spotlight with things like the Spider-Man games for Sony. This was one of the first titles released on the PS3, and looking back at older reviews, there were a lot of good things said about this game. But how does it stand up today in the eyes of this tattooed northern chap? Well, let's take a look and see what I think. Resistance follows a gruff US sergeant called Nathan Hale as he attempts to help human resistance forces drive a seemingly alien-looking force called the Chimera out of an alternate 1951 United Kingdom. Each mission that you do is topped and tailed by some fantastic story-driven cinematics as you follow Hale's journey, which is narrated by the female character called Rachel, who you help rescue in one of the earlier missions in a Chimera base. The game takes in various locations in this alternative England like York, Manchester, London and even Grimsby as you fight to become victorious over the Chimera. All in all, the story of the game, if it was to be remastered now, would stand up in my opinion. It wouldn't bring anything relatively new to the genre, but it also wouldn't stink the place up, and I would happily play a remaster of this game. The gameplay has varied mission types throughout the game, with open sprawling landscapes to more enclosed areas of the Chimera bases. There are even missions where you take charge of certain vehicles to get from certain points to get there fast, or in the case of the tank, more explosively. You get to use a vast array of different weapons, from carbine rifle right up to futuristic style Chimera kit to rip the levels up with. The AI is not very well tuned in this game though. There are a lot of enemies to fight and they do take a lot of fighting. You can find yourselves emptying a clip into an enemy soldier before they drop. This can be quite unforgiving and you can find yourself dying several times. Along with the enemies being difficult to gun down, if you die, the checkpoint system can set you back some way and you have to fight your way back through. Now, I'm not talking Dark Souls level difficult here, but it's still annoying enough to make the game feel really imbalanced at times, and even to the point where it seems a little unfair. The controls for the most part are standard fare for this type of game, therefore they don't take much getting used to. Even though it's a much older console shooter, they can be a little bit clunky at times, but they're not too bad. They're a bit spongy, but you will get used to that older style. Graphically, for a game that was created back in 2006, Resistance looks fantastic, with its varied levels that contain all sorts of hidden secrets for you to find. It runs at a very smooth texture, and if certain elements were improved upon, you would think that this is a much later game. All in all, the colouring and everything graphically suits the tone of the game and helps to create the atmosphere along with the sound that comes from this game. In a lot of the more open areas there are a lot of gunfire noises, explosion noises along with shouts and grunts from both your allies and your enemies. And then when you're in the darker, more creepy areas of the Chimera bases, there is a lack of a lot of sound that helps build the tension for the inevitable sort of enemy that's going to jump out of the shadows at you. All in all, the look and feel of the game, considering it's 15-year-old, still stands up, and coupled with the sound, the atmosphere is built with those two. I think you could say that this would stand up against some of its contemporaries that are in the market now. So, what do I think about the game then, as to sum up my points? Resistance, for the most part, does its job as a run-of-the-mill shooter. However, it doesn't bring anything out of the ordinary to the genre like, say, a Half-Life or a Dead Space did. The enemies, even on easy, are bullet sponges, which leads to times where the game absolutely kicks your ass to the point of being unfair, as I mentioned. I'm all for having difficult enemies and the game being hard, but at times I found myself wanting to launch my PlayStation 3 controller out of the window, just purely due to how unfair it is that you can fire a full clip into an enemy. It doesn't drop him, but then you run over and you smash another enemy with the butt of your gun, and it drops them in one. Despite its varied level design and the extra areas that you can explore, Resistance is still a very linear game. Essentially, you have to get from point A to point B, shoot some enemies, and that's pretty much it. Graphically, as I say, it is a solid enough looking game. It has very very good cinematic scenes. Ultimately, it's the unfair nature of the gameplay that would make me take the Gears of War series over this any day. That said, I would be all up for a remaster of this series just to see what it would be like with a modern engine and modern AI, and see if they could improve the kind of unfair nature that was there with the original. I need to play the sequels to this game just to see if they improve, as it goes on. But who knows? Remastering this could be Sony's answer to the Gears series. So there we have it. Those are my thoughts on Resistance Fallen Man that I picked up off of the shelf game. That it was picked up out for me by Ross over at BawHawHaw. Was I fair with what I said? Was I unfair? Have you played it, or do you plan on playing it? Let me know your thoughts. All that's left for me to do is thank you for watching. I have been the Ink Northerner, and I will catch you on the next one.